Greetings to the national officials. Greetings to the national officials of Afrika Mayibuye movement, members of the Politburo, leaders from Gauteng province, leaders from Johannesburg region, ground forces of Afrika Mayibuye movement, members of the media and the people of South Africa. My name is Mabatu Mukause. I'm the chairperson of Afrika Mayibuye movement, and I will be chairing the session today. Let me take this moment and welcome each one of us to this press conference to be addressed by the leader and president of Afrika Mayibuye movement, Comrade Nyiko Shibambo. But before we enter into today's business, let me request Ntate Mahlangu, who's also the leader of traditional affairs, to come and open this session with a prayer. Ntate Mahlangu.
Let us pray. Father, we bless you for today. We thank you for protecting us, and we thank you for the Holy Ghost. We pray as we speak to the nation. Give us authority. Give us the anointing. Give us the spirit of humility. Let us be comprehended by everybody, every citizen of the country and beyond. In the name of Jesus. Amen.
Thank you very much, Ntate Mahlangu, for opening the session with a prayer. I did take this opportunity and welcome all of us to this presser of Afrika Mayibuye movement. Let me also welcome those who are watching from home, from different platforms provided by Afrika Mayibuye movement and members of the media. With us here, we've got members of the Politburo. I did indicate that Ntate Mahlangu is the one who opened for us with the prayer. From my far right, we have Patrick Sindani, who's the national organizer. Sitting next to him, we have the Treasurer General, Comrade Tsepo Mahanuke, followed by the Secretary General of Afrika Mayibuye movement, Comrade Lazola Ndamase. We have next to me the Deputy Chairperson of Afrika Mayibuye movement, and we do have members of the Politburo. Mayibuye. But above all, he did make sure that he mobilizes the voices through the consultation process where Afrika Mayibuye started. And this is where we are now, where we are going to be briefing the people of South Africa as to where we are heading. I'm welcoming to the podium Comrade Nyiko Shibambo.
face together. Yeah, perfect.
Thank you very much, Chair. Thank you very much, Chairperson, and thanks. Thank you very much, Chairperson, and thank you very much to members of the media. I think we can immediately start to speak to the press statement of Africa Mayibuye movement. We want to take this opportunity to greet the national officials who have been introduced here, and also greet all the people of Africa who are joining us in different platforms, the religious leaders, civic organizations, women, youth, and worker structures, students, professionals, and all the progressive formations. We also want to take this opportunity to greet the structures of Africa Mayibuye movement across South Africa, the provincial core teams, the regional core teams, the sub-regional core teams, the branch core teams, and the VD core teams. We convey our gratitude that we have gathered here today to make very important announcement in the life of our organization. Since our successful national convention, which took place in December 2025, Africa Mayibuye movement has deliberately not convened any national press conference. Resolved that in the first dedicate our energy towards building and consolidation of the organization across South Africa. Over the past months, we have focused our energy on building strong, disciplined, rooted and mass-based organization that exists amongst the people and within our communities. We have established structures in all provinces and regions and sub-regions of South Africa, and we continue to establish our ward-based and VD-based structures throughout the country. We have used this period of Africa Mayibuye movement to introduce our organization to different constituencies, communities, sectors of society, religious institutions, royal households, and traditional leadership structures. We believe, as Africa Mayibuye movement, that genuine transformation and revolution in South Africa requires active engagement with all the people of South Africa and institutions that represent our people to shape social progress and common prosperity. In the intervening period, the leadership of Africa Mayibuye movement has visited and consulted with different leadership institutions and leaders across South Africa. We have had interaction to appraise His Majesty, the King of the Zulu Nation, Mrs. Zulukazulitini, about the consultation outcomes, which was the formation of Africa Mayibuye movement. We have interacted with Morena Moholo, Muperi of the Free State, whom we believe deserves to be recognized as the king of Basotho here in South Africa. We have also visited uNyazuli Zulu, the leader of Ibandla Lamalazareta in KwaZulu-Natal. We have also visited the St. Agnes Zion Church in Limpopo province. We have also interacted and appraised the comforter of the International Pentecostal Holiness Church under comforter Tsepiso Mudise. We have also had several engagements with the Association of Traditional Leaders. We have also interacted with Nkosi Hlatshwayo in Ngutu municipality in KwaZulu-Natal. We also have had interaction with the Mhlanga Traditional Council under the leadership of Jongin Taba and Damase in Libode in Nyandeni in the Eastern Cape province. We have also appraised Apostle Kuhlala in the Western Cape province with the people of Central Karoo, particularly the people of Beaufort West in the Western Cape. We've had interaction. We've constantly engaged with and sought guidance from our Chaplain General Bafana Stephen Zondo. We've also interacted with the Bojanala House of Traditional Leadership that is led by Hoshi Lebuhang Meso Mukhale of Bapoba Mukhale II in the Northwest Province. We've also visited the Loiso Nkotla Informal Settlement in Ward 88 in Cape Metro. We've also interacted to appraise the leadership of Hlangana Zion under Bishop Gwala in KwaZulu-Natal. We've had very useful interaction with Tobera, Womasia of Masia Traditional Council in Collins Chabane Municipality. We have appraised Wosi Dzumeri, Inkosi Cele in Ugu region, Inkosi Duma, Inkosi Ngobo, Wosi Madonsi, Wosi Siandan, Wosi Shulungwa Minga. We have interacted with the people of Flora Park and Peter's Place in Ward 102 in Ekurulin. We have also interacted with many people in the displaced and unrecognized settlements, so-called informal settlements, here in South Africa, in different parts of South Africa. We have also interacted with the leadership of the South African local and long-distance taxi and bus organization and appreciated the massive difficulties that the public transport sector is confronted with in South Africa. We have also interacted, as we had said before, with Dr. Mike Nkuna of Masingita Group, who is an undisputed champion of rural development. On the 26th of April 2026, we held a successful community meeting in Orlando. We are going to interact with when we began this process of Afrika Mayibuye movement. We will be interacting with His Grace, the leader of the Zion Christian Church, the one that is represented by the star. And we will also be interacting with the Bantu Christian Church under the leadership of Bishop Mlungisi Bebul. We'll also interact because we have written to them with the Val Hearts water irrigation scheme. We're also going to interact with the VKB, the Freestad Koparasasi Berspec. We're also going to interact as Mayibuye with the people who are leading the legitimate protests against undocumented and illegal immigration in South Africa, because we believe that all sectors of society must be engaged with and not insulted or fought against. We're also going for specific purpose, going to interact with all the leading chain stores, including ShopRite, Spar, Boxer, and Pick and Pay, to persuade them to prioritize the provision of guaranteed offtake agreements and agricultural support to all the small and medium scale farms and agriculture in South Africa. In the intervening period, Africa Mayibuye movement has intensified community support programs through Mayibuye Social Assistance and Mayibuye Medics. These programs have assisted vulnerable communities through food relief interventions, support for disadvantaged households, educational support initiatives, health awareness campaigns, and community medical outreach programs. Mayibuye Medics has continued to mobilize healthcare professionals, volunteers, and progressive practitioners to assist communities that lack adequate healthcare services and emergency support. Africa Mayibuye movement believes that the practical interventions that all political parties should make should include intervening on the daily challenges and concerns and grievances of the people and not just give electoral promises. The Mayibuye Medics of Africa Mayibuye movement has advised that we should use this opportunity to highlight the crisis in South Africa of the disease of hypertension, which is high blood pressure, which is affecting all people in South Africa, particularly in Gauteng province. There's a revelation that more than 70,000 people in Gauteng province have been diagnosed with hypertension between 2025 March and 2026 April. And this paints a concerning picture about the state of healthcare in the province, but also in the whole of South Africa. And of course, these figures fail to account for countless individuals who remain undiagnosed due to poor access to healthcare services, particularly those residing in informal settlements and unrecognized communities. The growing burden of hypertension and other chronic illnesses, such as diabetes, once again exposed the urgent need for South Africa to fundamentally reconfigure its healthcare system by placing primary healthcare at the center of policy and service delivery in South Africa. Mayibuye Medics is tasked with public health education, and that is why they've advised that every time we speak, we should highlight the emergency medical and healthcare issues that confront society. We're also pleased to announce that as the leadership of Africa Mayibuye movement, we will be addressing the Future Leadership Forum at the end of this month, May. The Future Leadership Forum is attended and anchored by almost all significant business leaders in South Africa, because we believe in Mayibuye that under proper ideological and political guidance of a developmental state, business can play an important role in driving job creation and development of our economy or the productive forces. Mayibuye will also be participating in the conference of the left that is convened by the South African Communist Party, which is taking place as well at the end of May. We as Africa Mayibuye movement are committed to left politics in South Africa and believe that left politics in general and scientific socialism in particular should appreciate South African circumstances in the same way the Chinese Communist Party successfully defined socialism with Chinese characteristics. The People's Republic of China is the most important country in modern history due to proper and measured application of scientific socialism, which considered and took into account the Chinese peculiarities. Africa Mayibuye movement has announced and established the Mayibuye Agricultural Support Program as part of the broader program for sustainable economic growth, food security, community empowerment, and rural development. The intervention which we have begun as Africa Mayibuye movement is being implemented in collaboration with a company called You Can Grow Company, or the Ugly Vegetables Company, which is a strategic partner in supporting small-scale farmers, which are going to be given the necessary implements, the seeds and seedlings, to participate in meaningful and profitable agriculture to uplift their communities. Within our program of agricultural support, as Mayibuye, we have assisted the Charlotte Mateke vegetable garden in Klip Town. We have also assisted an agricultural program that is led by Babzulu in Msinga in KwaZulu-Natal. We have also committed to provide assistance to the Mhlanga Traditional Council in Libode in the Nyandeni municipality in OR Tambo district in the Eastern Cape. And the engagements are currently ongoing to upscale the agricultural support interventions in all corners of South Africa. And we have specifically appointed Blessings Ramoba, who is here with us as the leader of the Mayibuye Agricultural Support Program. Blessings Ramoba has got experience in mobilizing our communities, particularly when he is leading the Mining Forum of South Africa. In the immediate period, Africa Mayibuye Movement's major national program will include a community meeting that is going to be held in Giyani on the 30th of May 2026, which is titled Bumunzuku Dza Giyani. And on the 16th of June, we're going to commemorate the 16 June uprisings in Fetahomo Tubatse in Skokune region in Limpopo province to mark the 50th anniversary of the June 16 uprising. And we're going to, of course, launch the manifesto of Africa Mayibuye movement in Gauteng province. And we're going to engage in multiple community and regional and ward programs in all parts of South Africa to persuade the people of South Africa to vote for Africa Mayibuye movement in the upcoming local government elections. We're also going to host a local government summit, which will spell out a clear program on how we will govern municipalities when we are elected into government of South Africa from the 4th of November 2026. We're also going to establish a local government technical task team, which will offer in-depth training on governance, particularly the sourcing of conditional grants, revenue enhancement, and local economic development. We're also going to provide continued support and continuous engagement with traditional and royal leaders in all corners of South Africa. We're also pleased to announce that we have recorded extensive online political education content, which is recorded in all South African languages and will be broadcast during the course of this week. In terms of elections, we as Mayibuye have already said that we welcome the 4th of November as the official date of the 2026 local government elections. It's a date which we had properly predicted because we were able to pay attention as to just what is going to happen. There are a few things that we want to highlight in relation to elections as Africa Mayibuye movement. One is that the abbreviation or the shortened version of Africa Mayibuye movement is not AMM, it's Mayibuye. Even in the IEC ballot paper, there will never be AMM, there will be Mayibuye. There will be the full name of Africa Mayibuye movement, and in the shortened version, it will be written Mayibuye, not AMM. We are not AMM, we are Mayibuye. The second issue that we want to highlight as the organization, Africa Mayibuye Movement, is that we are going to field candidates in all the 4,488 wards of South Africa. And we will be having volunteers in all the 23,000 voting districts of South Africa, volunteers and party agents, which will make sure that we oversee the elections much more clearly. We also want to announce that our ward councillor selection process will be deeply consultative, and in areas which are under the custodianship of traditional and royal leadership, we are going to consult with traditional leadership councils to make sure that the people who are chosen to represent Africa Mayibuye Movement are one with the people and are not imposed on communities or in society. We're also going to consult with religious institutions and all other faith-based organizations in our communities. We're also going to involve civic organizations and communal property associations in the selection of our councillor candidates for 2026 elections. While we are going to launch a national policy statement on the issues that we are going to deal with collectively at local government level, the manifestos of Africa Mayibuye Movement are going to be municipality based, that there will be municipality for each and every municipality. We are going to have a manifesto for the city of Johannesburg, for the city of Tshwane, for the city of Ekurhuleni, the manifesto for the city of Cape Town, for Mangaung City, for Buffalo City, for Nelson Mandela Bay Metropolitan Municipality. We are going to have a manifesto for Musina, for Giyani, for Greater Tanin, for all the municipalities. We are going to have a specific manifesto for Nyande. And the other issue that we are going to highlight is that our campaign is going to be respectful, transparent, and based on issues that are raised by our communities. And then that Mayibuye will also promote the meaningful participation of women, of youth, and of people with disabilities in all our election processes, including as candidates of Africa Mayibuye Movement. The other important issue and area that we want to highlight is that Africa Mayibuye Movement is not going to recycle failed councillors and mayors from ruling parties. So Africa Mayibuye Movement is not going to recycle failed councillors and mayors from ruling parties. We will strictly recruit capable councillors who want to join this organization that is based on excellence. The key issues that we are going to focus on is to unite and reunite and reconnect our traditional and royal leaders with their own their own spaces of governance. As part of our practical interventions, we will make sure, as Africa Mayibuye Movement, that the municipal proclamations of traditional land into townships without meaningful consultations must come to an end, to the extent that even when an area is proclaimed as a township, it must still be classified to be under the custodianship and rulership of the necessary royal and traditional leadership of those areas. Because in practical observation, the traditional leadership has said to us that their land parcels continue to shrink as and when more land parcels are being proclaimed as townships. Also, as Africa Mayibuye Movement, We are going to prioritize the formalization of all informal settlements here in South Africa, particularly in the metropolitan municipalities. There are so many neglected areas in South Africa, particularly in Ekurhuleni, in Johannesburg, in Tshwane and Nelson Mandela, in Cape Metro, which are not recognized by the municipalities. Africa Mayibuye movement is going to run one of the most comprehensive and impactful local economic development program, which is going to empower our people. We are going to do all these things because we recognize that all municipalities in South Africa are dysfunctional and they are unable to service all the people who stay in their own communities. That is why, as Africa Mayibuye movement, we are going to be a people's organization and a people's government that is going to prioritize the interest of our people. The other issue that we want to take this opportunity to speak about is the high levels of unemployment and poverty in South Africa. As we speak, and as per the latest quarterly labor survey, there is officially more than 8 million people who are looking for jobs actively every day, but cannot find jobs. And if you include those that have been discouraged on looking for jobs, we have got more than 13 million people in South Africa who are looking for jobs and cannot find jobs. And this is due to, one, government's failure to effectively address undocumented migration in South Africa. Two, its lack of clear industrial policy that expands to all corners of South Africa. Three, there is no proper alignment of education and the industry in South Africa in a way that is going to provide jobs for our people. Four, there is massive corruption within the state, which shrinks the revenue which was going to be utilized to create jobs for our people. Five, there is continued deindustrialization in South Africa. There is also no support for agricultural production in South Africa. There is also continued dependence on neoliberal economic policies that have failed to create jobs in South Africa. But also there is continued illicit financial outflows and tax-based erosion in South Africa. As we articulated in the statement that we issued in relation to unemployment, part of the practical interventions that we're going to make will include expansion of the agricultural support program based on a household responsibility system, which we think must be priority in everything else that we do as Africa Mayibuye movement. And we're going to pursue aggressive localization and industrialization in all our areas. And we're going to utilize strategic state procurement to buy goods locally and services that are made here in South Africa. And the other important issue is to eliminate corrupt tender system and replace it with a capable and transparent state that will deliver our services to the people. The other issue that we want to take this opportunity to speak about is the crisis levels of water shortages in South Africa, that there are still so many areas that do not have water. And this is reflected by many things. Lack of irrigation water systems in our communities, which otherwise were going to help our people. That water and sanitation collapse in informal settlements and rural communities. Unreliable and inconsistent water supply in urban areas. Deteriorating water infrastructure. Environmental health risk caused by sanitation failures. As a result of these conditions, we as Africa Mayibuye movement have formally written to the President of the Republic of South Africa and the Minister of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs to say that water must be declared a national disaster and all resources must be dedicated towards the resolution of the water crisis
in South Africa. On issues that relate to crime in South Africa, we as Africa Mayibuye movement appreciate the important revelations that are coming out of Madlanga Commission regarding the infiltration of South Africa's criminal justice system by criminal syndicates and corrupt actors and leaders. So Mayibuye calls for the extension and expansion of the time frames and mandate of the Madlanga Commission so that it can investigate criminality across all spheres of society in South Africa, including all the municipalities and also including the South African Revenue Services and all state-owned companies, but also the South African National Defence Force. There's been a lot of issues that are raised about the South African National Defence Force that need urgent intervention. We also, as Africa Mayibuye movement, take this opportunity to call on President Cyril Ramaphosa to abandon and leave the litigation against the Section 89 report of Parliament. That if he believes that he is innocent, he must go and subject himself to the impeachment process. If President Ramaphosa is innocent, he must subject himself to the impeachment process and not delay the process unnecessarily. Now, comrades, we are going to speak now to some of the organizational updates that we thought structures of our organization should know. That in the intervening period, we have got to bolster and enhance the Politburo, which is the National Working Committee of Africa Mayibuye movement. We have appointed Deputy National Organizer, who is Dr. Moseline Duplessis. We have also appointed the head of mobilization, who is Comrade Temban Zimande, a scheme GP who is born and bred in the city of Ekurhuleni. We have also appointed the head of membership, who is Comrade Precious Mtian. We have also appointed the head of business, who is Comrade Ngweti Bila, whose mandate says that she must never pursue business interests that have got anything to do with government. No tenders at all. You must involve yourselves in businesses that do not include tenders. We have also appointed the head of elections, Molatelo Motadisa, who until a few weeks ago was an official party leader opposition in the Polokwane municipality in the Limpopo province. We have also appointed the head of transport coordination, Comrade Grace Namin. We have also appointed the coordinator of the religious desk, Lufuno Buddha. We have also appointed, as I said earlier, the head of agricultural support program, Comrade Blessing Ramoba, who is still a leader of the Mining Forum of South Africa and a mining engineer. These appointments form part of strengthening the organization and preparing for the 2026 local government elections. Now, comrades, we are now also pleased to announce that we have accepted the membership of Eric Gezani Koban, who is affectionately known as Penny Penny or Papa Penny, who has officially joined Africa Mayibuye movement. So Papa Penny or Penny Penny is going to play an important role in the leadership of Africa Mayibuye movement. So we welcome Papa Penny into Africa Mayibuye movement. He is going to lead. So Papa Penny is going to lead our campaign in the Greater Giyani local municipality and all the areas that he is going to be able to reach out to. Until few weeks ago, Papa Penny was a member of parliament representing another organization, which we do not want to talk about today. And before that, he was a councillor for more than 10 years, for more than 2 terms in the Greater Guyana municipality. He was the best performing councillor for Ward 5 in Greater Guyana municipality, and a dependable force who is going to lead our program for campaign in the Greater Guyana local municipality. And comrades, in conclusion, we want to remind all the members of Afrika Mayibuye movement that we must always abide by our own principles, which is the principle of Ubuntu, of honesty and respect, of sound and superior alternative, of collective prosperity, of women economic empowerment, of recognition and respect of traditional and royal leaders, of progressive Pan-Africanism, of strong opposition to corruption and wrongdoing, of anti-imperialism, of black economic solidarity. And in emphasis is that all of us as black people, we collectively earn more than 2 trillion rands in any given year. But we spend more than 80% of our income on people who do not look like us. We enrich them. We give them everything else that we work very hard for. So we want to emphasize the principle of black economic solidarity, meaning that whenever there's a black business that exists, as members of our communities, we must support each other so that we can collectively prosper. Thank you very much, comrades. We are going to now allow comrade Eric Kovan, Papa Penny, to greet and say some few words in relation to us welcoming him to Afrika Mayibuye movement. Comrade Papa Penny.
Afrika! Afrika! Mayibuye! Mayibuye! Nikesile President Yiko Flot Shibambu, Afrika Mayibuye. Mina nikezani Eric Nkobani. Luina mutla ninga joina Afrika Mayibuye. Vano abatubutisa kuri ni ya kwihi nugu ni ya kaya. Ile kaya la. Nila kuranda kukesa President Jacob Zuma kunteka anisa a parliament. Nitlela nitsika parliament. Himaka kwa yimela ba akatiko. Imaka service deliver. Anilwangina mono bangani chichi. Anilwangina tribalism bangani chichi. All colleagues lanu maukona anilwangina ngwina. Ni joini Afrika Mayibuye hikubona kuri chasi ya mina kutirela busuwana mzabani mahina ndabzikuma hikutala. Afrika Mayibuye ita opportunity ya kuri va akatiko van'wani lava hluphekaku kona tikona of South Africa matava ta ripotela hi kota ku ya tirhela vanhu. Antela ku endla speech president wa vulavulini no tela ku khensa ku everything is ahead.
Thank you very much, Comrade Papa Penny, for addressing the Afrika Mayibuye movement community and the people of South Africa through this presser. And thank you very much, Comrade President, for addressing the people of South Africa, ground forces, and the leaders of Afrika Mayibuye movement. I am now going to allow a round of questions, and I'm going to request that if you take up the microphone, please indicate which media house you are representing, your name, your surname, and the media house you are representing. I'm going to now note hands.
Good afternoon. My name is Sintebu. I'm with the SAPC. Mr. President, I've seen that you've interacted almost with everyone across the country, looking at the number of organizations that you've met over the past few months or so. Did you get the resonance in your interaction with those organizations? And secondly, Afrika Mayibuye, we are told there's going to be elections, and there are a number of names that have been bandied around, especially by different political parties, in terms of who are they going to flock in several municipalities. Johannesburg, in fact, all the 3 metros in Gauteng seems to be the highly contested ones. Do you have maybe names in terms of who is likely going to represent you in those metros, and by extension, the 8 metros and the 22 secondary municipalities across the country? I think for now, those are the questions that I have to share with other colleagues.
Thank you very much. I'm noting hands. Over to you.
My name is Cleopas Chidote from Cleo Reports Media. I've noted the president made some comments that he had engaged with members of transport locally and cross-border, I believe. And I would like to understand what are the engagements he has made regards to the current illegitimate protest against legal foreigners, because I believe these two are in line, especially with the cross-border department. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm noting hands. Any other hands? Thank you very much, members of the media. Can I get the microphone? Over to you, Comrade President.
No, thank you very much, Chair. Thank you very much. Thanks for the question, Table, SABC. We have visited many traditional and royal leaders and religious leaders, and we can say without an inch of doubt that we are finding very deep resonance and connection with all the constituencies that we interact with. That is why we are able to elevate all the issues that they raise, and particularly the issue of just how traditional and royal leadership is undermined in the South Africa's constitutional democratic system and local government system in particular. So we're highlighting in the main statement that in instances where townships are growing to areas which are under custodianship of rural or royal leaders, they immediately say that the traditional leadership is no longer responsible for those particular lands which townships are expanding to. What that effectively means is that immediately a municipality puts bulk services like sewerage systems and roads and street lights, they say traditional leadership is no longer involved anymore there. Meaning that traditional leadership is subjected to and is left to govern over poor areas only, which have got no services, including in areas where minerals are discovered and there is mineral rights granted. The traditional leadership have got no say in the areas where the minerals are being extracted, sometimes ruthlessly by these multinational corporations. You know, in the land which is under the custodianship of Hoshi Lebugang Mogale of Bapong Bamogale II,
in Moses Kotane in the northwest. There's billions of rands worth of mines and minerals there. But the community is not benefiting anything. The traditional council is not benefiting anything. That is the case in Skukune. That is the case with even the areas that are hosting the Richards Bay Minerals Company in KwaZulu-Natal. That is the case in all corners of South Africa, that our people are being sidelined, and as and when there is development, the traditional and royal leadership is pushed away from any meaningful participation in all corners of South Africa. And this happens because this CODESA process that brought us here had an intention to completely erode the role of traditional and royal leadership in South Africa. And it's something which the traditional and royal leadership is saying must not continue to happen. And we agree with them as Africa Mayibuye movement. Of course, there has to be issues of gender parity, of consistency of how land is given to people by traditional and royal leadership, so that there is equality. But majority of these royal and traditional leadership institutions and councils have got very noble and meaningful intentions for their communities. And the other issue, by the way, which finds resonance, is the issue of the demarcation of wards. That in the rural areas, wards are demarcated with multiple villages, and then they say this is ward 1, this is ward 2, but it's multiple villages underneath the ward. And when the IDPs of municipalities are developed, they go and service one village, and then they neglect the other villages, and then they go and write a report that we have covered ward 1, ward 2, when they've excluded many other villages. So sometimes 100% success of a municipality excludes more than 80% of the people and areas which the municipality is responsible for. So you will find the most underdeveloped municipality, like Collins Chabane in Bembe district, winning awards for service delivery, when many villages have never seen anything that looks like development in their own areas. And that is the issue that we have got to find resonance with our people, with and all the leaders that we interact with. More so as well with the religious leadership who say that they are recipient of so many service delivery grievances as religious leaders. That is why many people submit to religious guidance, because they realize that these people who are supposed to represent them are nowhere to be found. And they say that we every day we receive service delivery grievances, whether it's job losses and housing repositions, potholes, lack of water, lack of proper sanitation, collapsed infrastructure. And we do not have any role, we do not even have a voice in all the institutions and systems that are supposed to resolve that particular crisis. And that is what we would then say, we as Mayibuye, that we will be that voice, and we do not want to appear like all these other political parties that just come make promises and they disappear afterward. We always encourage both the royal traditional leadership, religious leaders that get involved and take charge of all the issues that relate to governance and government. And Africa Mayibuye movement is an important vehicle and a vessel that is going to bring about the meaningful and long overdue change in our areas. And then the other issue is the question you have asked is on issue of mayoral candidates. We will, on case-by-case basis, decide where we are going to field mayoral candidates. The process that we're engaged in now is to build the VD-based structures of Africa Mayibuye movement, so that we are present in all the VDs, and we are doing extremely very well in establishing VD-based structures. Yesterday, I was taking reports from the branches of Ekurhuleni about the VD-based structures. When I was in Guyana, I was saying to the leadership of Guyana that we want the list of all our VD leaders. When I was in Mpumalanga, same. in the Eastern Cape, in KwaZulu-Natal. We're establishing VD-based structures so that we are able to speak to each and every voter in South Africa. In instances where we believe that there must be mayoral candidates, we are definitely going to field mayoral candidates. For instance, here in this hall, we've got the incoming mayor of the Greater Guyana municipality. And that is guaranteed. And we're going to have the mayor of the city of Ekurhuleni as well, who comes from Ekurhuleni and not a migrant laborer in Ekurhuleni. We're going to have a mayor of Johannesburg who understands the city of Johannesburg. We're going, who knows how the systems work in the city of Johannesburg. We're going to have a mayor of the city of Tshwane who understands the city of Tshwane and is a resident of Tshwane. We're going to have the mayor of Nyandeni municipality who comes from Nyandeni municipality. We're going to have the mayor of Collins Chabani municipality. We're going to have the mayor of Polokwane municipality of Fetaho Mutubat. We're going to have the mayor of Makado municipality as Africa Mayibuye movement. And you can mark this because we know just what we are busy with in each and every step. We're going to have a mayor of Newcastle and Emadlangeni in KwaZulu-Natal. And we're going to have the mayor of Nkomazi municipality in Mpumalanga. We just know the activities that were involved in as Africa Mayibuye movement. We're going to have a mayor of Bushbuckridge municipality because the people of Bushbuckridge have been subjected to absolute rubbish for many years. So I use the word rubbish because in Parliament we're allowed to use the word rubbish. When I used to be a member of Parliament, we used to be allowed to use the word rubbish. So the people of Bushbuckridge were been subjected to rubbish government since the beginning of local government in 1995, even before that. So we're going to rescue the people of Bushbuckridge. So we will announce the mayoral candidates when the time is right. And we say that these are the people who are going to lead you when we come into government as a Africa Mayibuye movement. Of course, we have interacted with the leadership and attended the gala dinner of the AGM of the South African Local and Long Distance Taxi and Bus Organization, and got to listen attentively that there is huge crisis in the public transport space and government is not assisting. It looks like government is much more inclined on eroding that space as well, in the same way they want to erode the traditional and royal leadership. Everything else that is anchored by black people, this government wants to erode that system. And there are so many legitimate issues and harassment that the public transport sector confronts, and we will fight alongside those who are in that space to resolve all those crises. And our view, by the way, in relation to the protests that are led by Ngizwe Mkunu and the people of March in March, is that all the concerns that they are raising are legitimate. And we will not join into the band of those who want to delegitimize and insult those who are saying that we've got a sitting crisis of undocumented and illegal immigration in South Africa. It confuses planning. It confuses the allocation of resources. It confuses responses as to just how many houses do you need to allocate? Just how many informal settlements do you want to formalize? Just how many jobs are you going to create for our people? And one of the issues that we highlight, including in our foundational documents, is that the private sector, business owners, are the primary beneficiaries of illegal immigration in South Africa. We say it here in our documents. We say it here in the Restoration Manifest that the primary beneficiary of illegal immigration in South Africa is the private sector, because they go and employ these unprotected workers from other parts of the continent. They employ our brothers and sisters from the continent who are not documented, and then on their payday, they call police on them. On payday, they remind them that, remember, we are not here in South Africa legally. When they try to form a union, they say, remember, you're not allowed to form a union. And that happens even in the construction sector as well, even in the mining sector, in the agricultural sector. During harvesting season, it's worse. In the hospitality sector, it's the most dominant feature to choose to employ undocumented and illegal immigrants into South Africa. So the issues that Ngizwe Mkhunu and those that he is leading are raising are legitimate. It will not help anyone to stand on the sidelines and insult people who are raising legitimate concerns. We need to sit down and talk as to just how do we resolve the crisis of illegal and undocumented immigration in South Africa. And part of the immediate solutions will be to criminalize the employers who purposefully employ illegal and undocumented immigrants into South Africa, and take firm action against those. There must be serious consequences so that our people are given jobs, because it looks like the jobs crisis in South Africa will never be resolved. Because if you think that you must create 2 million jobs, when you create those 2 million jobs, now you have got additional 2 million people who take those jobs, and then the unemployment crisis remains as is. So we as Mayibuye, we do not delegitimize those who are fighting against illegal and undocumented migration, and we will actively engage with them. We'll sit down with them to say, what are the practical interventions that we can make, even towards local government elections? There are certain things that a local state can do in relation to undocumented migration, particularly on the licensing of small businesses and the so-called spaza shops, which are 90%, if not more, utilized by those that came from elsewhere. So our call as well for Black economic solidarity is that let us support each other. Because the other problem as well is that even when a Black person opens a small-scale trading, we still think that it's better for us to go and buy from someone that we do not know than those that we know every day. Our people's businesses get drowned because we do not support each other. We're making a statistically surveyed observation here that as Black people, we collectively earn more than 2 trillion rands every year. But we spend majority, if not the entirety, of our earnings as social grants, as wages, as dividends for those who are in business. We expend that amount of money on people that are not like us, that do not look like us. We enrich even the white capitalists. And we think it is progress when ShopRite and Pick and Pay and Spar invades our areas. We don't see anything wrong with even when all these other retailers invade our areas. We think it is status to associate with them instead of supporting our own people in terms of businesses so that we can collectively prosper. And that is the principle which Africa Mayibuye movement is always preaching and say we should promote in any given moment. So that is our position in terms of how we deal with these issues, is that let us talk, all of us as the people of South Africa, on how do we sustainably resolve the illegal and undocumented migration question instead of throwing insults at each other and undermining each other's integrity whenever we're supposed to come with solutions. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Comrade President. In the absence of questions of follow-ups, is there any other follow-up from members of the media, or are we all clarified? Thank you very much, comrades. And let me take this moment as we come to the end of this presser, which was addressed by the leader and president of Afrika Mayibuye movement, Comrade Nico Shibambo, and thank each one of us who took time to come and engage with Afrika Mayibuye to understand where we are and where we are heading ahead of the historic upcoming local government elections of the 4th of November 2026. Let me also thank the leadership of Afrika Mayibuye, members of the Politburo, the region of Johannesburg and the province of Gauteng for making this possible. Let us meet on the ground as we prepare the organization for a total takeover come the 4th of November. The ground is waiting for us. Thank you very much. This presser stands adjourned.